I recently bought, tested, and then returned the Antigravity A1 drone. In this video, I'll go over what I disliked about the drone and why it's mostly a gimmick. While it could supplement your existing drone fleet, it's not a good main dedicated content creation drone if you have only one. This drone is purchased with my own money and not a sponsored video. Also, despite Antigravity claiming that you can no longer return the drone if you open the box, I was still able to return for a full refund, and I'll let you know how I got a refund in case you're unhappy with the drone like I am. Before we get started, I get asked this question a lot, which is there autonomous tracking? There is absolutely no autonomous tracking on this drone. You need another human pilot to pilot the A1 drone, which I think is the biggest downfall of this particular drone. If it can do some type of follow or directional track on a moving subject autonomously, I think I would have actually kept the drone. Okay, the biggest problem of the A1 is the 360 camera. I have the Insta360 X5, X3, and the GoPro Max 2 360 cameras, and I use them for my daily content creation purposes, which is basically just me on some type of personal electric vehicle zooming around town. The biggest problem of a 360 camera is that it cannot zoom more than 10% before becoming super pixelated. I'm not going to get into the technical details here, but 360 camera pixels need to cover the entire three-dimensional sphere as opposed to a regular camera where all the pixels are focused into a little square. So whenever I know that I'm going to be a little bit far away from the camera, like more than 6 feet away, I use a regular camera like my iPhone or GoPro. Because the quality after you zoom in any capacity on the 360 camera is absolutely dog shit. If you fly the A1 anywhere outside of a 6-foot radius of your subject, they will be extremely small on the screen. The software also limits you from zooming past a certain limit. In this footage, this is just me flying the A1 at 2 stories high enough to avoid a 1-story church, and the footage is almost useless because you can barely see the rider. And zooming in on the rider in any capacity just causes so much blurriness that makes the video unusable. So how I get around this inability to zoom is camera placement. On my Insta360 X5, I zoom in or out of the subject by mechanically moving the camera stick closer or further away from me, instead of relying on digital zooms on the 360 camera. With the A1, you have to fly closer to your subject as a workaround, much closer, uncomfortably close. You have to fly literally next to your subject, like around 6 feet away, to get a good shot that fills the subject on the screen. But there's another problem with this approach. First is the fisheye effect from 360 cameras. Everything looks like it's rounded. Even with the de-warp software, it's still super apparent as opposed to a normal camera. And the other problem is the lack of power. The second weakness of needing to fly closer to the subject is that the drone is too weak in acceleration and top speed. When the subject changes in direction or increases in speed, the A1 feels sluggish and can barely keep up. It lacks the punch necessary to keep itself flying close to an agile subject. I'm not talking about anything crazy, just cars on suburban roads with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. It has trouble overtaking these slow vehicles even in the fastest sport mode. The drone gets up to 10 meters per second lazily as compared to my other FPV drones, and then it takes forever to ramp up to 15 meters per second. And that's about the fastest it will go. So if you're picturing yourself piloting a drone, following a friend on a dirt bike on the track, yeah, that's not happening. This drone is just not powerful enough to stay close to the subject while doing powerful maneuvers. Again, performance of this drone is extremely mediocre. It's not what you think when someone puts FPV in its name. The goggles have really bad signal issues as well. I think I've seen a few people complain about the goggle signals. In Reddit forums, I have the same issue as well. Sitting in my backyard while flying, I get about 200 to 300 meters before the bad signal warning and visual quality becomes significantly graded to the point where I don't want to go any further. The best I've done is 900 meters in an open field with no obstructions before I get significant distortions and warnings. With the goggles, even though you can look up and down and left and right through the 360 camera, the field of view is extremely limited to a square. It feels extremely confining. They should have widened it to a 4:3 or 16:9 aspect ratio. If you're trying to track someone fast moving, once you lose the subject, you'll have a really hard time trying to reacquire your subject with such a limited view. The extended battery, the more expensive one, which have a claimed flight time of 39 minutes, gets me about 18 minutes of flight time until 20% battery warning, which is about half of what they claim. They also don't have support for standard controllers, so you have to use the gimmicky motion controller. They say a traditional remote is coming, but don't buy something because of a future promise. As for the workflow, the battery would only charge with USB-C cables with a specific charging protocol. So if you just bought the base model, you can't charge the drone with just any USB-C cable. But the only thing that I have in my house that charges that fast is the battery bank. So I have to charge the battery bank to charge the drone's battery. For all my other drones, I just plug them into any of my charging cables and I'm done with it. For this one, I really have to be specific about the cables and the charging brick. This means if you don't have an SD card reader, you have to fully charge the drone first, as it will not have enough batteries to facilitate an 18-minute video file to transfer. Yes, this drone died on me while I was transferring a video file while I was charging on the USB-C cable after I came back from a flight, as a standard bundle does not include the appropriate chargers for this drone. 360 video files are huge. They take forever to transfer and edit. Sometimes I have trouble finding specific moments because not only do you have to comb through 20 minutes of footage, you have to comb through all 360 angles of a 360-degree footage. If you film non-stop, you'll regret it later, as you have to filter through a ton of 360-degree footage, which is just a pain in the butt to go through. Which brings me to another point. Antigravity is essentially Insta360 rebranded. It's trying so hard to disassociate itself with Insta360. Because of that, they need to recreate the Insta360 app. The current one, the A1, does not track well. You constantly lose tracking of the subject, and you also need to constantly redo tracking loss. The camera also, when tracking a subject, has a huge problem tracking things that crosses from right under it. Whenever a subject crosses from under the drone, it just goes crazy. It spins like crazy. I don't know what is going on with it. Here's what I like about the A1 though. The flight experience is awesome. The experience for the pilot while flying the drone is absolutely amazing. Despite the little square screen, the ability to fly forward while looking left and right as if you are in a plane is wildly amazing experience for the drone pilot. I absolutely love this. I think for future drones, I would love to mount a dedicated forward camera for recording while having a 360 unit for the pilot just to look around. Until 360 technology is hugely improved and you can actually zoom in, this drone will stay in the gimmick territory for me. It's nice if you get one for free to review, but in no way it's worth the $1,500 price tag for the base model, because you have to buy more batteries, you have to buy SD card readers, you have to buy chargers, you have to buy a bunch of stuff. At the end of the day, for this huge cost, you can build yourself 2 or 3 of the best FPV drones with goggles, with remotes, with spare batteries, with higher top speeds and higher acceleration. And you have money left over to buy yourself a separate 360-degree camera to mount on the bottom of the drone with the money that you have left over. I think the Antigravity A1 for the price is not worth it for any serious content creator. It's a jack of all trades and master of none. The only way it can reliably follow a subject is to be slightly further away from it, but the subject will be so small and you can't zoom in, so it's essentially unusable. But if you want a good look at the subject, you'll need to fly hilariously close to it. But at that distance, the drone doesn't have enough punch or power to stay with the subject if it's fast moving. Even if you can do that, the goggles will lose signal around 200 to 300 meters if you're not in a perfectly flat and open area. The Antigravity A1 is not particularly good at anything. It's not a cinematic drone, it's not a powerful drone, it's not a long distance drone, it's not an autonomously tracking drone. It's just a huge gimmick. Anything you need to do, another drone can do it better and cheaper. Let me know what you think about this drone down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, bye. Alright, so what you need to do to return the drone is to go to antigravity.com, go into your account, and then under your account, go to my order. When you look at your order number, there's going to be a button next to it that says refund. You can actually click on that, and that will actually open up a ticket instead of giving you a refund. And then the customer service rep is going to try everything they can to steer you away from a refund, including give you a free gift like a free battery or whatever it is to try to get you to keep the drone. However, I insisted every time and told them I do not want anything, I just want a refund. I insisted that upon like 3 different replies that I want to return the drone for a full refund. In the 3rd attempt, they finally said okay, but I will have to provide my own shipping label. So that's what I did. And since it's a very expensive drone, I also bought like purchase protection insurance just to make sure it's not lost. And what they also did is after they agreed to let me send the drone back, they wanted you to provide a video and a picture with a date stamp on it to prove to them that the drone isn't crashed, that the drone isn't damaged. If you can do that, they agree, everything's good, and then you can send the drone back for a full refund. In fact, right now as we're speaking, I've already received my full refund, so it's very good on them to actually honor the refund.